My name is Alf Rudd. I'm a 10th generation master blacksmith. I have some of the actual tools belong to my great-grandfather. This is Felix, and this is Samson. It's almost like having a puppet show at times to get the two of them that can kind of dance together, if you will.
My name's Jason Henderson. I'm a full-time firefighter, part-time bladesmith. And I shoe horses also. We hand forge all our own shoes, so working in the fire is something that I do every day.
My name is Francesco Mucci. I am 41 years old, and I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. Yeah, I'm Italian. I moved to the United States because my wife is American. I used to teach 15th century sword fighting when I was back in Italy. I used to sing also in a band, heavy metal. I've always been into metal.
My name is Don Halter. I've been a Texan all my life. I plan on being a Texan the rest of my life. I got 3 degrees in nuclear engineering. I found my calling, cleaning up radioactive material, decontaminating stuff. We had a lot of Homer Simpson t-shirts.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. You're here to demonstrate your edged weapon making capabilities in front of our panel of expert judges. Ultimately, they're the ones that determine which of you will be the Forged and Fire champion and leave here with a check for $10,000. ABS Mastersmith, Jay Nielsen. Historic Weapons Recreation Specialist, David Baker. Edged Weapons Specialist, Doug Marcaida. All right, gentlemen, if you look down at your anvils, there's nothing there. That's because we didn't want to provide you with just one piece of high-quality steel today. We wanted to give you options. Your first round challenge is to take 2 or more of these steels and combine them with powdered steel to make a canister Damascus billet from which you will forge a dagger. Your dagger must include a hidden tang.
The canister steel, I'm not afraid of it. I've just never done it.
Keep in mind that in the second round, you'll be putting handles on those blades to turn them into fully functional weapons that will be tested for strength and durability in an oil can stab and for edge retention in a ham stab and slice. You have 10 minutes to design your blades and 3 hours to forge them. Good luck. Your 10-minute design window starts now. We haven't done daggers in a while now.
I can't wait. This is 3 of my favorite elements of knife making in this one challenge. Daggers, canister Damascus, and a hidden tang.
I've made 1 dagger in my life, and it was terrible. Drawing something with a pointy end and a makeshift handle, and then I'll forge it out, and hopefully it looks better than the drawing. I can't draw. No, I've never drawn a blade.
My design is a 16th century kind of blade. I have made a few daggers. I'm trying to keep it really simple. With $10,000, I would like a professional espresso machine, of course.
I keep my blades primitive, and I try to stay within the 19th century. The dagger is one intention. It's not used to chop firewood or cut a piece of meat. It's made to kill.
The overall design I chose for my knife, what they call Gothic daggers, kind of a cruciform dagger, the blade and the guard form a cross. What got me excited about radioactive material was Godzilla movies in high school. I'm totally serious.
Your design window is now closed. Your 3-hour forge time starts now.
I choose the upright canister. It's very easy to fill. And I grab a pair of jars of ball bearings. Nice thing is the bearings are round, so it's fairly easy to tap the powder and get it to fall down along the sides. And then I'm thinking fish hooks are a pretty good bet.
Canister Damascus, what things absolutely must be done in order for this to work out?
You want to see these guys filling their material up to the brim, pouring the powder in, and then tapping that can to sift all that powder down. You don't want any gaps.
I dump in an entire bottle of liquid paper and I start rolling it around on the inside.
The chemicals in liquid paper keep the outside canister steel from welding to the interior steel.
One thing that concerns me, they're pouring that liquid paper in, and they're not letting it dry. They're just dumping the materials in.
So if you get liquid paper on your steels that you're adding to the can, those pieces of steel might not bind either.
Right.
Let's just clarify that all of these small bits of steels are hardenable steel.
Oh, yeah.
Except the canister.
Except for the can itself. Alf has just shoved one of those canisters into the forge. There's nothing in it. It's an empty can. What's going on?
He's letting that scale build up.
The mill scale is not weldable. Junk, if you will. It doesn't stick. It creates a non-bonding surface. So I could certainly use it to my advantage to be able to peel the canister off that much easier and protect it a second time with a whiteout. Hopefully it'll give me a double-edged sword in a way. It'll make it that much easier to get off of there.
We've got like some sort of chemical spill going on at Alf's workstation over here. He's over there like Jackson Pollock with the liquid paper,
all
just
over the
slinging it
place.
everywhere.
We use 1095 steel, little chips of this, that, and the other thing. I don't make mistakes. I get everything right. First time, every time. I have no weaknesses, none.
I haven't worked with canister Damascus very much, but I've done it a few times. I really enjoy it.
Francesco's grabbed some of the race bearing parts and ball bearings.
I like to put some fish hooks inside just to have a neat design in it.
He's opting for the canoe canister as opposed to the vertical canister. The advantage with the canoe canister is if you want to set a certain pattern, as opposed to when you do a top feed, you're going to kind of get what you get.
I would like to have the canister weld within the first hour. After that, everything will fall in place, hopefully.
I've never done canister in Damascus before. I put in ball bearings, pieces of 1095. I'm just watching my steel, waiting on it to heat up to the right temperature. I'm thinking, oh crap, is this going to go the right way? And then I look at it and I think, oh great, it looks good. And then I go back to, oh crap, is this going the right way?
1 hour has elapsed. You have just 2 hours remaining to finish your daggers.
I've done 3 welding passes, so now I'm going to start trying to rip the canister off that billet.
Don's having a hell of a time getting this canister off of his billet.
Oh, it can be a brutal task.
Go to the chop saw. Just cut one end off on the chop
Cut
saw.
both ends off, that's what I
Both
do.
ends off. Well, I'm a little concerned now because I see a lot of ball bearings that look like they didn't get welded. I thought I had it more than hot enough to get it welded, but hopefully they're stuck enough that if I need to, I can heat it back up and press it into a bar.
Look at Al's technique, 2 hammers.
You know what? It's working, though.
It's working.
Or maybe Lady Luck is shining down on Alf because she likes those arm garters.
Yeah, you didn't get it. Well, he's looking in there, and it doesn't look like he's happy.
What I discovered is about a third of it loose in there. I just did not get welded. But I'm confident that I can get this thing welded together, and I'm going to do that because there's more than one way to skin a cat, as some people say. Except I never skinned a cat, but there's more than one way to do it. I couldn't tell you.
It's time to open the billet. I go to cutting the corners off of it, and it's not cutting it off like I expected it to. It's not nearly as easy. Getting this canister off, it's frustrating. The way I learned to do canister Damascus was to watch Jay Nielsen's YouTube video. And I think he left a step or 2 out because it's way harder than when he did it.
Hey!
Yes, Jason, open
Take
the
that
chop
on the
saw.
chop saw.
I think that the forge weld is good. It's time to remove all the canister. It should be a solid piece.
Francesco does not look like a happy bladesmith.
Really?
Once I open it, nothing has welded inside.
Francesco's canoe looks like a rabbit poop all squeezed together.
And that's usually a matter of heat, not letting your material get up to the proper heat before you start that welding process.
It looks like I have to forge weld again. You put the canister back in the forge. After a couple of heats, a couple of times at the press, I feel confident it should fix the problem.
It is ridiculous.
Francesco needs to take a deep breath.
My whole billet falls apart. Yeah. This is bad. Sometimes being too confident has its downside. You're sure that you're doing good, that you have temperature good, and then maybe you're not.
Is Francesco throwing in the hammer?
There's no way to recover from this.
So Francesco's canoe is not solid on the inside.
This is the worst forge weld I did since I started bladesmithing. There is not really a recovery from that.
Still got time to start over.
I can quit because it's not what I do.
Can I start another canister?
Then let's see if I can do it.
You have less than 90 minutes remaining to finish those daggers. Look at Don's billet. Look at that.
Don's billet looks great.
That's dialed in.
When you heat your bar up to welding temperature, you really need to get that thing pressed as quick as you can. And I just start mashing it. And lo and behold, I'm looking down, it's like, oh my gosh, I have a solid bar. $10,000. I love some of the equipment, you know, and before you're fired, I just may have to buy something stupid.
I haven't seen Alf steel in a while.
I just saw it.
How's it look?
It's terrifying.
What I discovered is that the billet is not completely forge welded together. So I need to just put a crease in it.
I'm just gonna fold it over once and see if I can close some of them voids and try to forge weld it together.
I need to make a single billet so I can get that blade quenched.
45 minutes left. It will be difficult within the time to remove the canister. So as soon as it's hot, I go to the press. The piece is solid. I'm doing whatever I can to finish the blade.
Francesco is actually making some progress here.
He's got some good welded up steel.
Bladesmiths, 30 minutes.
Canister Damascus sucks. I got some D-lambs in it. I'm hoping that those just grind out. And I'm gonna quench it, and I'm gonna do a little work on the grinder.
Oh, Jason just quenched his blade.
Yeah.
Good.
My tank got a little off center when I was forging. That's pretty important that I fix this, but I don't have time to do that.
I feel I could still do it. I have a flat stock. I'm starting to forge the tank, but my blade is rough. I'm feeling more and more concerned because I don't have even closely the shape of a knife, and I'm running out of time.
Can Francesco pull this off?
Yeah, he can, but he's just not working efficiently. When he went to cut off that excess material, he could have just cut an angle into it right across and had a freeform tip.
Just for the sake of not quitting, I go to try and heat treat. I think I need at least 10 to 12 minutes to reach the temperature, you know, to quench the blade.
It doesn't look like Francesco is going to make the quench.
You gotta be kidding me. What do we always say? I'm management.
You have 1 minute remaining in this round.
He's gonna try and get it up to temperature.
He'll never get it up to
It's
critical.
not gonna happen.
It'll never suck up enough heat. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmith, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This round is over. Too late.
Oh.
The way I feel now is no apprehension. I've made a blade that I feel it's competitive, no nonsense, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with myself. Even if I didn't quench the blade. I would like to hear from the judges that my blade is one solid piece. It could become an actual knife in the second challenge.
Bladesmiths, in the first round of this competition, you were given your choice of a variety of beautiful steels from which to forge a canister Damascus dagger. Now it's time to take a look at what you did with that steel. Alf, you're up first. Please present your work to the judges.
Well, first off, Alf, you get extra points for excellent facial hair and a nice vest. These flakes back here, they're in the tang. There seems to be enough material there to deal with them, I hope, but I'm looking at a lot of kind of burnt metal, and I'm hoping that doesn't go deep.
Okay, Alf. Right now, it looks like a blade that is similar to an ogre. But ogres have layers. And if you peel the onion of layers, there's going to be a beautiful metal in there.
I won't let you down.
Jason, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Jason, you do have some little D-lam issues. There's a couple little pieces on the edge here and your tip. It's got a good shape to it. But I'm telling you, this is killing me. Explain to me why you got the tang offset.
I plan on fixing it with the grinder.
Yeah, it can be interesting to see how you take care of that. Good job. Thanks.
All right, Don, lay on.
You got a few little spots here, but you've got a lot of mass here, which we're always saying, forge thick, grind thin. So you've got more than enough material here to remove any issues.
It looks to me like most of the little D-lambs you've got here are surface, so those will probably just go away. All in all, good-looking dagger.
Thank you. Francesco, you're up. Please present your work to the judges.
The effort you put in the last hour and 15 minutes of the first round was outrageous. Once you made the choice and start fighting with something that wasn't working, you got it dialed in.
That last 10 minutes when you cut that tip in, why didn't you quench it?
I didn't think I had enough time to heat it up at temperature.
Yeah, because you put it in the forge like with a minute or a minute 20 seconds. It's definitely not enough time to get it up to temperature. I wish you had quenched it.
Bladesmiths, only 3 of you may move on to the second round, and it's time for one of you to leave the forge. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Francesco. Your weapon did not make the cut. David Baker will explain.
Francesco, you showed a lot of skill and drive to get that piece done. Unfortunately, you didn't quench, and that blade is not a hardened blade. That's why we've got to let you go.
Francesco, please surrender your blade.
I made a blade that I feel is not really a blade. Time crunch was one of the reasons. It just didn't turn out. I agree 1,000% with the decision. I couldn't complete the task. I was taught to never give up, even if the challenge looks bigger than you. This is not gonna stop me. There is nothing that can stop me from forging.
Bladesmiths, congratulations. Your blades have made it into the second round. It's time to turn them into fully functional weapons by adding handles to them using the range of materials provided in our pantry. You will have 3 hours in this round. Your finished blades will be tested for strength and durability in an oil can stab and for edge retention in a ham stab and slice. How you choose to design those weapons to perform those challenges is entirely up to you. However, because we are doing the stabbing test manually, the judges require that you put a guard on your dagger to prevent their hands from slipping up to the blade. Good luck, bladesmiths. Your 3 hours starts now.
And off to the races we go.
I know my blade is thick. It needs a lot of shape work done to it. I've done a lot of double-edged daggers, so I'm in my comfort zone. And I started bladesmithing. I was working for a NASA contractor, and they had a shop that was just, wow. So we started making some knives there. Thank you for your federal tax dollars at work. I'm pretty confident that when we go to stab that oil drum, it's gonna bleed.
I'm going to grind some of the scale off of that blade. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, that technique that Al's using seems like you would dig deep grooves into your blade that you just have to clean up anyway.
Turn the grinder rather than at an angle, as they call them, angle grinders, and cut into the metal to remove it much faster. Having 60 years experience doesn't mean I got the upper hand or the edge on anyone else, but I really know what I'm talking about, and you're going to see it yourself.
First thing I need to do is get rid of the delamination in my blade. I'm doing a hollow grind because I can get a little bit deeper with that and I can see where they're at.
Jason is going a lot slower. I think he would have ground out faster using the smaller wheels.
Yeah, working as a firefighter definitely makes me stay calm under pressure. We're under pressure every single day that we're on the job. With an hour and 15 minutes left, I'm cool as a cucumber.
I'm going with the big thick stuff for a guard, 3/8-inch thick brass. When you're gonna be trying to shove a knife through a steel drum, so you don't want your hand to slip off that handle and slice your fingers open.
Oh, wow.
There's a nice black piece of some sort of African horn for my handle. The horn is great, it's hollow. Look down inside the horn, and there's a whole lot of empty space.
It's gonna need about 2 whole bottles worth of epoxy to fill that sucker.
Look at Don, man.
I love that.
Pouring
That's
the
great.
epoxy into it. I've never seen that one
That's
before
great.
either.
That's awesome.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, hey, there's no way this guard's gonna come loose on this knife.
Don't remember what the hell that is. I finally found something. It looked like the kind of thing that's going to work for me, that I could take it down without breaking it. My plan is to do a simple burn through and fit the handle onto the tank.
Got a fire going on over there. He's gonna burn his block.
I don't want to have to glue this thing on because I do primitive work.
Should there be a flame?
If he went over and got a piece of handle material that already had a hole in it, he would not do any of that.
You guys make it sound like it's easy, but it never is.
I need to straighten my tang. And I'm just thinking, please don't break. I'm worried about snapping it or messing up my heat treat. That looks terrible. If I had more time, I would with this a whole lot. I don't have time to do that.
Blade Smith, you have just 45 minutes remaining.
I want to be an independent thinker. Since we have to put a guard on this blade, I'm going to integrate the guard into the handle itself rather than put a bunch of brass. In my mind, that would be wrong.
I like Alf's style. He's just like, I'm gonna do it all out of this one block of wood.
Sculpting. Done properly, it could be cool.
Hey, I got 18 minutes left on the clock, so I'm thinking I can do a split it tang. So what I'm doing is on the tang, you split it, and that gives you two little dog ears that you can then hammer down and fold over, and it cinches things down.
Now, did Don just split his tank?
Yeah,
Yes.
splitting the tank, brilliant. You can feather that in either direction. And it's a compression fit. Though he's got a lot of glue in there, it's still a compression fit, which I like to see on the dagger.
And I get a cold chisel, put into the groove, ping, 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 and the end of my tang falls off.
Curtain.
The only thing I could think of is, hey, we got two MIG welders over there. And now I need to weld a tip to a washer I made that's about 1/16 of an inch wide. And it's kind of difficult. You pray that you don't strike an arc right next to a finger on the ground clamp.
Don's over here. He's got 12 minutes left to go.
He's pushing the boundary.
I got to be able to hit that in the right spot. I see that it's tack welded. It's not pretty, but it's tack welded in place. So boom, I'm back in the race.
I've picked some sort of red burl handle material. It's fire engine red. You know I got to go with that. I love to compete. Everything at the fire station is a competition, from who gets on the truck first to who gets to do the dishes. The guy that isn't doing the dishes is the one that's lazy. You don't want to be the guy that's lazy.
Jason, mixing epoxy.
So I get the handle epoxied on. I didn't really think it through very well. I didn't find a clamp. I had to sit here for 5 minutes while it sets up.
Don't hold that blade against your belly.
Jason's been doing that all afternoon.
Should he lean too heavily, it'll get very exciting in here. Very wet as well.
I like that. I'm very confident that I'm going to be able to breeze through this because of my style. I'm not going to add a lot of bells and whistles. I'm going to keep it primitive like I normally do.
This is the part that could get scary. I mean, this is the part where your material can crack.
Well, he's using micarta, which is incredibly strong. I don't think that's going to crack from hitting it with that hammer.
I would not normally think so, but keep in mind that he did burn through with that micarta.
So that could have made the micarta brittle?
It could have made it brittle, yes.
Aha! I'm feeling really good right now. I got done before they rang the bell. I might have a blade here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmith, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This round is over.
I know this blade's going to be subjected to some tough tests. I'm confident that it'll work very well.
Bladesmiths, welcome to our strength test, the steel drum stab. I'm gonna take each of your daggers and thrust them through the top of this can 3 times. It's gonna test the strength of the tip of your dagger as well as the overall construction of the entire piece. Don, you look a little nervous there.
I am. I'm feeling a little concerned about the steel drum stab. So if that blade is as brittle as that tang tip is, it may come out of that drum in about 3 or 4 pieces. Yeah.
It is a beast, Don. It thrusts good. You can see each time where it stopped. Going in the first time, had to kind of work it out. It kind of threw me off balance a little bit. But overall, good job. Worked well on the test.
Thank you.
What are you thinking, Jason?
Let's see what happens. Jay's fixing to stab my knife into the drum lid, and the tang didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to. I'm just thinking to myself, man, I sure hope this thing doesn't shatter.
Nice job.
Well, Jason, it'll stab. No doubt about that. Just a hair of flatness on that tip. Not bad at all. You can see how far it went in by the marks from the white paint. The only thing I really had a problem with is once you get to this point, it narrows out quite a bit. And on that last thrust, it got stuck. And I had to pull so hard, I ended up smacking myself in the hand. But it went through the lid. Did a really good job.
Thank you.
Alf, you ready?
Let's give it a go.
All right.
I feel like when Jay tests my blade, it's going to go all the way up to the hilt, all the way up to the ricasso, if not further.
Alf, we got a problem here.
Something's really wrong here.
Alf, we got a problem. There's no guard. There's nothing that's going to absolutely stop my hand from sliding up onto this blade, stabbing into a steel drum. I can't test this safely without risking injury.
Bladesmiths, we asked you to make a Damascus dagger with a guard that was appropriately designed for the challenges that lie ahead. Alf, you failed to add a guard to your dagger, and therefore, I have to ask you to now leave the forge.
Thank you. I believe that the guard on this was going to be sufficient enough. I am not at all unhappy. I might not have won this competition, but I'm still Alf, 10th generation blacksmith. Just got to keep going, carrying on that legacy.
Jason, Don, congratulations. You've made it into the third round of this competition. We're sending you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the scissor.
Oh, God.
Wielded by gladiators in ancient Rome, the scissor was an ideal weapon for the bloody battles that ensued in the Colosseum arena. The contour of the sharp crescent-shaped blade was optimal for slashing and stabbing, while the armor encasing the forearm offered protection. Gladiators who used the scissor were also known as sesores. They could swiftly brandish the weapon in the heat of battle due to its surprisingly light weight. The dual block and cut capabilities of the scissor freed the user's other arm for another weapon or shield, giving the user the advantage of multiple ways to attack. Your final challenge is to recreate a scissor. It must be an effective working version of that weapon. Your scissor must include an at least 2-inch wide crescent-shaped blade that is 8 to 10 inches from one crescent tip to the other. The forearm guard must be at least 10 inches in length and include an internal handle. Gentlemen, at the end of 5 days, you will return and present your scissors to our panel of expert judges. Only after they've submitted them to a series of excruciatingly brutal tests will they declare one of you the Forged and Fire champion, who also leaves with that check for $10,000. Well, good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Day one. Feels good to be in my own forge. I've never built armor before. I've never shaped sheet metal before. I need a book, Armor for Dummies, you know. They don't make it. I looked. 2 billets I'm making right now are gonna be for the blade. I'm gonna twist one way and I'm gonna twist the other one the other way. I just like the way it looks. I almost screwed that up, twisted it the same direction. I'm going up against Don from Texas. Oklahoma always beats Texas.
I'm not really familiar with a gladiator scissor, but since it is armoring, I've been doing armoring for about 25 years. I'm sure I can overcome any challenges that come up for it. I'm using a coarse wrought iron combined with high carbon steel to make a composite welded blade.
I have no idea what that came off of. Just part of my 500 pounds of stuff. Hey, man, we're Texas. We're bigger and better, and our blades are better.
Today's armor day. It's the big experiment day, but it seems like all week's been an experiment. Yesterday, I got a pattern cut out. I'm gonna try to get the gauntlet shape today. I have this big piece of pipe so I can wrap the metal around it. I'm just trying to beat out of it until it goes where I want it to.
I'm probably doing this the hardest possible way there is.
So I've got it lined up with my marks. Now I'm gonna throw little tack welds on each end and then start getting the seams closer together. And that almost looks like I meant to do it.
My whole gauntlet section is done in 3 pieces. The only thing I have left to do is to make sure all the parts fit back together. There's no warps in there that I can't take out. Probably had first time. I'm trying to get the main cone put on. It's driving me nuts. There's a slight warp in it. It keeps catching on the inner layer. Oh, turn it. Damn it. I feel like something bad's about to happen. One more time. I'm trying to get the main cone put on. There's a slight warp in it. It keeps catching on the inner layer. Oh, that was a pain.
This is billet number 3. I have a billet of Damascus. I'm not 100% satisfied with it. I don't think it's gonna look the way that I want. I'm gonna start over with just some plain steel. I did not want to be forging on day 4. I'm going with the W2. It's gonna look good, it's gonna have the look that I want, and I'm not gonna be wasting any more time. Now I'm starting to get the blade pretty close to the shape I want, keeping my measurements in mind. Let's get it done. Even though I don't like the way the blade looks, performance-wise, though, I think it's going to perform just as good as Don's. If I lose, hell, I guess he just got lucky. Even a blind squirrel get a nut every once in a while.
All I have left to do is sharpen the blade and then do a little bit of testing. We don't want to trip while holding this. That would really suck. I want to make sure nothing's going to rattle loose when the judges start hitting stuff with it. That would hurt. So the final test. It rubs on a knuckle slightly, but to be honest, I didn't even notice that until afterwards because I was just having too much fun swinging and cutting things with it.
Jason, Don, welcome back to the Forge. You've both had 5 days at your home forges to work on your scissors. Jason, how did it go?
It was challenging. I chased rabbits for 5 days, down holes, and never made armor before, but I think it turned out fairly decent.
Don, how'd it go for you?
I had fun. I did a composite weld between some coarse wrought iron and 1084 high carbon steel. The gauntlet part of it was made from 4130 sheet metal that's been hardened and tempered, so I'm looking forward to testing it.
All right, bladesmiths, your weapons will now be put through 3 tests. Up first, Dave.
All right, gentlemen, this is the sharpness test. To test the sharpness of your edge, I'm going to attack our sandman here several times. We'll see how they do. Jason, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
My scissor is not pretty. It's sharp and it's pointed, and it'll kill something. I think it'll survive the test just fine. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. The handle feels really good in my hand, but the shape of your blade not being as deep a crescent made it a little bit more difficult to slash. All in all, solid, and it's got a good look. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Don, you ready?
I'm ready. Dave making comments on Jason's grip. I'm feeling pretty nervous. I'm really a little bit concerned about how his hand's gonna fit inside my scissor. I made it to fit my hand. It's a huge issue. If you can't comfortably hold it, is it gonna affect how my weapon performs?
like the way this is set up, tighter around the arm. But right here at my hand, my knuckle is just pounding into the side. You can see it slashed pretty easily on the arm. And then on the forward punch, didn't quite get the slash I was looking for.
I'm feeling a little nervous. It didn't perform like I wanted. I think Jason had the edge here. His was a more comfortable fit across the hand.
All in all, though, did the job.
Thank you.
Next up, I'll give you to Doug.
Bladesmiths, this is a kill test. To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I will take your scissor and I will deliver killing blows on this ballistics dummy. Jason, you're first. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. First off, the minute I put my hand in your handle, it's not directly in line with my fist, so it's slightly off. But as you can see, I can still wield the weapon. The laceration was deep into this cavity right here, so you've got a very sharp blade. The hook you have penetrated right into the heart on the backhand draw. It lacerates and guts everything out and disembowel this ballistics dummy. Your weapon, sir, will kill. Good job, sir.
Thank you.
Don, your turn.
Let's have some fun.
Let's do this. Good. Don, let's talk about your weapon. What I like about your weapon is that it's in line with the handle. On the initial cut here, it lacerated right through there. And in this backhand hook, your edge is deep to go in here and right into that cavity. Your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
I think we're running neck and neck, and it feels pretty amazing. But of course, I wish I was further ahead of Don. I wish his would just spontaneously explode.
All right, gentlemen, this is the strength test. Now, the scissor was used in gladiatorial combat for both attack and defense. Now, to test the strength and durability of your weapon, we'll clamp them into our mechanical device here. The blade's going to come down and strike the armored cuff of your weapon twice, and then your weapon's going to be launched into this breastplate. Jason, I've already got yours strapped in, so you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay. Just the slightest roll. It's not deformed beyond being sharp. And then you can see where the sword came down and hit it. Caused a bit of deformation. And then I think we were pushed just a little further offline. Right in here, it looks like it kind of waffled just a bit. But everything is still tight, still sharp. Nicely done.
Thank you. My blade has made it all the way through all 3 tests. I feel great about that. So now Don's up. If his fails, then I'm good to go. If he makes it all the way through, then it goes to a decision.
So, Don, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get you strapped in. So looking at this, I'm having a hard time finding where the sword hit it. And there's one teeny little mark. You know, the blade's still tight. On that edge is still a razor blade. There's no rolling at all. Very well done. It's nice.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, you've worked very hard to recreate weapons that we've never seen here in the Forge before. However, in this competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. And that champion is... Don, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jason, unfortunately, your blade did not make the cut. David Baker will explain.
Jason, what this came down to was the strength test. It's a gladiator's weapon. It's got to be strong. That rolled edge and the deformation you took from the hit on the cuff, well, that's why we're sending you home.
Jason, please surrender your scissor.
I spent 5 days making something I've never made before. I went up against a guy who builds armor quite often. I held my own against him. I'm pretty proud of that fact. I loved every minute of this experience.
Don, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving that check for 10 grand. How do you feel right now?
Man, I feel fantastic. It feels great to be a Forged in Fire champion. $10,000. I like to get something nice for my wife. We kind of had a little fun, you know, making jokes at each other about Texas versus Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm glad to see Texas came out on top. Woo!